Lutfiah Baderan. I'm going to explain you the guidelines for designing effective English language teaching material. So, stay tuned. The first guideline is English language teaching materials should be contextual. According to NUNA 1988, the materials should be contextual to the curriculum they are intended to address. Furthermore, the materials should also be contextual to the experience, realistic, and the first language of the learners. And also, the material should be contextual to the topic and a theme that provide a meaningful, purposeful use for the target language. The second guideline is material should stimulate interaction and be generative in terms of language. According to this case, Hall stated that most people who learn to communicate fluently in language which is not their first language do so by spending a lot of time in situations where they have to use the language for some real communicative purpose. Ideally, language teaching materials should provide situation to demand the same situation where the learners need to interact with each other regularly in a manner and reflect to the type of interaction they will engage in outside of the classroom. So language learning will be maximally enhanced if the materials designer are able to acknowledge the communication challenge inherent in interactive teaching approach and address to different norms of interaction, such as preferring the personal space, for example, directly within their teaching materials. So for your information, effective learning frequently involves learners in exploration of new linguistic terrain, and linguistic terrain and interaction can often be medium providing the stretch. The stretch is the necessary for ongoing language development. So materials designers should ensure the materials allow sufficient scope for the learners to be stretched at least some of the time to build on from what they provide to generate on new language and go progress beyond surface fluently in proficiency and confidence. The third guideline is English language teaching materials should encourage the learners to develop learning skill and strategy. It is impossible to the teacher to teach their students in a classroom without any strategies. So how can the teacher improve the students' ability in speaking foreign language? So it's really important in this guideline. It's really important to know the strategy to improve the students' ability. So the teacher needs some strategies, effective strategies such as the material provide a valuable opportunity to the self-assessment or self-evaluation, so that the teacher should give the students some evaluation so that the students will know and evaluate by themselves, so they can develop their skill in speaking in learning English language. Thank you. The fourth guideline is English language teaching material should allow for a focus on form as well as its function. In language teaching material should focus and correct as well as the function. Sometimes taught in the desire to steer a wide berth around this more traditional approach, material are developed which is allow absolutely no scope for a focus on a language form. So to help these goals, materials also need to encourage learners to take the materials or doing some analytical approach to the language around them. The fifth guidelines is English language teaching materials should offer opportunity to integrate language use. So if the teachers have the materials, so the materials should provide not only one skill but also connected with another skill, but also connected with other skills. For example, if the teachers want to talk about listening, so the materials should be provided with the speaking. So because teaching English learning is not only think about one skill, but also we should think about another skill. So it can help the students to improve or develop their skill in English language. The sixth guideline is English language teaching materials should be authentic. So, English language teaching material should be authentic. It means it must use the authentic material in a language to teach in a classroom. It is very important for the teacher. It is very important for the teacher, more important in the terms of the tasks which the students are required to perform with them. The next guideline is the seventh guidelines. English language teaching materials should link to each other to develop a progression of skill, understandings, and language items. So it means that all the tasks and activities designed should be interrelated and organized following a specific pattern. It should has the link from other materials to the others, and so it will help to improve the student's skill in English. The eighth guidelines is English language teaching materials should be attractive. Language teaching materials should be attractive, so it needs some criteria, and some aspects of these criteria are particularly pertinent to the materials designer. The first is physical appearance. This can be important in language classroom as they are in a many other aspects to life. And the second is user-friendly lines. The material should be attractive in terms of their users' ability, and the third one is durability, and the fourth one ability to reproduce. And ninth guideline is English language teaching materials should appropriate instruction. So these guidelines applies as much to the instruction that are provided for other teachers who may use the materials as it does for the intense learner. So this is the last guideline. It's the 10th guidelines is about English language teaching materials should be flexible. This material should be flexible in terms of the content. They should offer a wide range of possibility from which students can choose from. This material should also have a room flexibility in approach, methodology, logistic, technology, teaching style, evaluation, procedure, and expected outcomes. So, thank you very much for watching my video. I hope it's helpful for you guys. Wabillahi taufiq wal hidayah. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.